Well, as you just heard Elisa say, winter weather has just hit the Ozarks within the last few hours. Good morning and welcome to Color 10 News Midday. I'm Lauren Barnes. We have live team coverage out there on the roads this morning. We'll check in with our Branson Bureau in just a few minutes to see how roads are holding up down south. And we'll also take a look at our MoDOT Travelers map to see what kind of traffic impacts we're having on the roads so far. But first, our Hannah Zettel has been out driving around in Springfield for us. Hannah, how are those roads looking so far this morning?
Good morning, Lauren. Now, the roads aren't too bad at this point. It is raining. It's not yet turned into sleet, but 100 schools in our viewing area are closed due to the forecasted snow and ice for today. Those schools range from Springfield, Nixa, Ozark, and Branson, all closed today. Also, some businesses will not open their doors due to this expected weather. Now, taking a look at what we're driving on now, the roads are not yet frozen, but they are wet, and if it gets any colder, they could turn to ice. That could also include black ice, so you might not see that. That's something you definitely want to look out for. And keeping that in mind, definitely keep a good amount of space between your car and the car in front of you. About the space of 3 cars is probably the safest thing to do. Another thing a lot of cars that are parked have done is they've lifted their windshield wipers up off the windshield to kind of prevent that from freezing and sticking down if the sleet does continue. And another thing to keep in mind, in case you do get stuck or slide off the road, have your emergency bag ready to go with water bottle, non-perishable food, a blanket, and a phone charger so that you can call for help if that does happen. Now, again, the roads aren't too bad at this point, but if you can avoid driving, go ahead and do that, because the colder it gets, the more dangerous it's going to get out here. It was sleeting a little earlier, and now it's kind of slowed down to about a rain. But live from the Color 10 Live Drive, I'm Hannah Zettel. Back to you.
All right, Hannah, thank you for that live look at road conditions. We also want to take a look at our MoDOT Travelers map now. As you heard Hannah say, those road conditions not too terrible just yet. It also looks pretty clear to the eastern part of our viewing area. That's the green you're going to see. Purple means mostly covered to completely covered roads to our north and west. Blue is what the Springfield Metro, that light blue, is covering us so far. That does mean mostly clear, but does indicate some traffic impacts, and you can see that extends all the way down into Branson as well. That's where we find our Crystal Blair this morning, and we know she's live right outside our Branson studio. Crystal, I can actually see some of that water frozen on the rail behind you. Any signs of slickness so far?
Well, I'll tell you, Lauren, we're standing just a few blocks from the landing, and yes, you're right, the railings are starting to freeze up, and we've had a steady rain since about 9 this morning, and it's not too heavy, but because of the fact that the temperatures are below freezing, we are getting some icy patches, so you want to be careful, particularly on bridges and overpasses. Now, the good news is, on my way in, the roads were treated well, so traffic was moving smoothly, and if you want to take a look up the hill here, you can see it's pretty smooth, and it's really not too bad. The traffic is moving well, but I caution again, because it's below freezing and the pavements are wet, there are some slick spots. So whether you're behind the wheel or on foot, take your time. Reporting live in Branson, Crystal Blair, Ozarks First.